Working for the Weekend. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
Get ready for the MTV Lost Weekend with Van Halen. Do you have the guts to enter this contest?
Destination unknown. You'll have no idea where you are. You'll have no idea where you're going, and probably no memory of it after you go, but it'll be the whole weekend.
We shouldn't call it a contest because we don't know what's going to happen to the winner.
Might as well jump.
Here's what we can tell you. We'll wait till the last minute to let you in on where and when you're going. Just drop us the right postcard and a big black limo takes you and a friend to the MTV Learjet. Then you're off on the Lost Weekend with Van Halen.
This ain't no one-night stand.
That's right. You win 2 days of Van Halen concerts, parties, food, sound checks, loud music, and...
How about a little joyride in the back of my limo?
MTV gives you $1,000 in unmarked bills and a portable VCR so you'll have the evidence on videotape. On board the MTV Learjet, you'll get a private screening of Paramount Pictures' new movie Footloose, and if you make it home, you'll each keep an Atari 5200 Super System with 3 Atari 5200 game program cartridges and the Honda Nighthawk 450. 1,000 runners-up win a copy of Van Halen's latest album, 1984.
Van Halen, The Lost Weekend. Difficult to learn, risky to perform, and worth every minute of it, baby. I'll race you to the phone.
That's a postcard, David. Send it to the MTV Lost Weekend with Van Halen, P.O. Box 1211, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101.
Are you ready for the big time? It's ready for you.
In April 1984, Kurt Jeffries won an MTV's Lost Weekend with Van Halen. Van Halen had teamed up with MTV to give 2 lucky fans a chance to party with the band. The contest was called The Lost Weekend with Van Halen. The grand prize was to hang out with Van Halen for 2 days on the road. It's 1984.
Wow.
MTV is coming into its own, but really took off running, I think, by 1983, 1984. Mm-hmm. And Van Halen, as you remember, in 1984, was at the top of their game.
Huge.
Pasadena royalty, Van Halen. Mm-hmm. At least Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen. And I think they're maybe all from Pasadena. So they're a California band.
Damn. And a prize like that, I can't even imagine. We would never offer that anymore. Like, can you imagine someone like a contemporary artist who's as big as Van Halen was offering that kind of prize?
And also at a time where Van Halen are at their peak. They're actually in a very tumultuous place. They have their arguably biggest album. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Duran Duran, all these artists really made MTV kind of what it is, and MTV kind of made them. Yeah. Van Halen was super popular. They connected with so many more people, especially with the album 1984. Me as a child, 10, 11 years old, what did I get for Christmas? Van Halen 1984 on record and Prince Purple Rain. Ooh. If you remember, the cover of 1984 has a baby smoking cigarettes. And I don't know if you heard of Prince and songs like Darling Nikki. My mom was like, rock and roll, 10-year-old. And that's why I am who I am today, I guess.
They just give you 2 records, just set you, unleashed you on the world.
I got a carton of cigarettes, of course.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Like the baby.
There were lights.
There were lights?
Because my parents were kind of woke back then, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
They're like, okay, you can smoke, but let's rein it in a little bit.
And Van Halen, notoriously a wild band during a wild time. Now, in the 80s, everything was a lot of excess showing things at MTV where they don't know what they're doing. We did an episode on the John Mellencamp episode about Pink Houses. A lot of their contests, things went wrong because I think MTV is, we want to do some cross promotion and we're going to make it crazy. We're going to make your old boss your butler, and we're gonna make your ex-girlfriend human furniture, and you're gonna get a Miata.
There's a lot of role reversal. That's a good point that you make. It's like topsy-turvy time. Yeah. You think you're in this vortex. You think you're in reality. No, you're in a vortex. You're in a party time vortex, and we're your hosts, baby, and everyone else lives to serve you. Crack open a beer.
And you're a freaking loser. You're a loser. Do you want to be a winner for once in your pitiful life?
Put on sunglasses. Here we go.
Put on some big old Ray-Bans. Get some bikini girls out.
Yeah.
And when the winner gets doused with champagne, spoiler alert, it goes really bad, and you find out why.
Oh, no.
Other prizes included $1,000 cash, a Honda Nighthawk motorcycle, video camera to film everything,
A video cam, a giant video cam.
an Atari 2600
Oh, yeah.
with some games,
Ooh.
and this one, you're going to think this is too decadent. A private screening of the movie Footloose on a Lear jet as you go meet the band.
Why does it have to be in a jet? Why do you have to watch that movie on a jet?
Because you have to check off a bunch of boxes. And I think it's a lot like that now, like private jet, watching a movie on a plane. Now think about that. For the most part, unless you fly very cheap like me, sometimes you'll have access to watch a movie on a plane.
Yeah, it's a luxury. It's a lux.
And Footloose
experience.
is a rebel movie.
But nowadays you wouldn't be like Billie Eilish on a tank and you're in Gucci. We don't do those types of contests
But watching
anymore.
Footloose.
While watching Footloose. You gotta get Footloose in there.
So this was for their 2 shows in Detroit. Detroit Rock City. MTV received over 1 million postcard entries for the contest, and the winner, Kurt Jeffries. A representative for MTV reached out to Kurt to make sure he's of legal age.
I bet that call went something like, "Hey Kurt, are you of age?" And he's, "Yeah, man." And they're like, "Great."
He sent in 13 postcards, so he wanted to meet the band. He wanted to rock.
He wanted it big time.
And there were 1 million postcards submitted. It's actually pretty decent odds.
Yeah, according to a lottery odds. Yeah,
Lottery
for sure.
odds, yeah. And they were submitted to MTV in 1984, but early April, Jeffries and his friend Tom Winnick.
Tom, you're coming with. Get in the car, Tom.
Tom in it to Winnick.
Wow.
Tom in it to Winnick.
It rolls off the tongue.
They got picked up in a limo, of course,
Of course they did.
from their dump of a house
God,
in Philadelphia.
a limo. I want to fucking ride in a limo. I haven't ridden a limo in a very long time. You know what? I think I might enjoy it.
Stop being poor. Stop doing podcast.
Never.
Van Halen was performing at Detroit Rock City's Cobo Arena in support of their album 1984, their biggest Panama, Jump, Hot for Teacher.
Amazing.
I did remember Trisha Paytas? She did a video for Hot for Teacher, and I was the teacher. And we filmed it at John Marshall High School, where they filmed Hot for Teacher. And in the video, David Lee Roth does an intro for that video that I'm in playing the teacher.
It's you won this contest. Are we doing an episode about you?
It's never about me. It's about the art.
Oh, gotcha.
And speaking of art, let's take a break. Jeffries had a girlfriend. He didn't bring her.
No?
No.
That's terms for breaking up.
He was like, "Bye, Mandy." She's like, "My name's Brandy's." Whatever.
I don't care. Got my best friend, got my pizza. Let's get this tour on the road.
You think he's just like eating slices of pizza in the limo, slices of pizza in the
If
jet?
it's 1983 and you're not eating slices of pizza, if you don't have a pizza on your person, are you even 80s-ing?
Are you even drinking Crystal Pepsi?
I don't know. I don't understand.
What's interesting is, and like people who win lotteries in general, when he was announced as the winner, people were all over him. Women were throwing their bodies at him because they wanted to be his plus one.
Of course.
Guys were throwing money at him, offering like cars and stuff like that because it's not something you can buy.
It's priceless. No, like we said before, this is a priceless experience. It cannot be replicated, and nobody does this anymore.
Obviously, the whole thing is on MTV to publicize so they can run ads and make their money back and,
For sure.
and all that.
Of course.
Surprise, surprise, they were drinking on the plane. So they showed up in Detroit drunk as a skunk.
Pretty wasted.
So they're shuttled to their suite. So they got to check in first. Mm-hmm. Got a bunch of sweet merch.
Of course.
Very cool.
Of course.
And then headed out to the concert that evening. According to Jeffries, he recalled being nervous as hell, but fondly remembered how the band treated us like one of the guys and really paid attention to us. So as far as Van Halen is concerned, they were cool.
Yeah, they did their part.
They did their part, fun, gregarious. Mm-hmm. As somebody who's been in a music video with David Lee Roth, yeah, I'd say we're pretty close friends. So they drank with the band, watched the show, took photos, and then Jeffries was brought on stage and he was sprayed with champagne and hit in the face with a cake because that's very you're in an 80s movie, idiot.
Totally.
But the real partying started after the show. There was groupies. Mm-hmm. There was alcohol flowing. Mm-hmm. And there was drugs. Mm-hmm. Cigarettes. Bayer
Caffeine.
aspirin. Oh, there was caffeine at night.
Holy, you're not going to sleep after that. How do you expect to sleep?
According to one Van Halen crew member, the antics were X-rated.
Uh-oh.
French kissing.
Stop it.
I'm kidding. I guess it was a famous groupie named Tammy that maybe set something up with Kurt. So David was like, hey, Tammy, you love the boys. You love Van Halen. You love VH.
Mm-hmm.
Have sex with this person from Philadelphia.
That's exactly how it went.
Well, yeah, that's how he did the quote. That's actually a soundbite.
Verbatim. I feel like I'm transported. If I were a Van Halen groupie, I'd be like, come on, baby.
That's what you would say.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
I'm like Betty Boop. Come on, baby. Why?
Hey, mister, come on, baby.
Is that helpful? Is that sexy?
He'd
Is
be
that
like,
helpful?
you know what? He's like, I'll just
like,
get in a long-term relationship.
Actually, I'm going to vomit and leave.
Now, one thing MTV didn't know is Jeffries had suffered brain trauma a couple of years before, falling down 13 feet in a stairwell while drunk.
Oh, my God.
He had been in the hospital and in a coma. And he had a metal plate in his head.
Oh, my God.
So when they poured the champagne on him.
Oh, no.
Plus his anti-seizure medication.
Oh, no.
He later vomited and then started smashing plates in his hotel room.
Oh, my God.
Probably there's an overwhelming amount of things happening.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The Bayer aspirin, the caffeine,
yes,
the X-rated, the French kissing.
It's like no intel on the part of MTV to be like, okay, let's check your medical history. We're just throwing you into this situation.
In defense of 1984 MTV, which is probably not a lot of, I guess that probably wouldn't be something like, let's go down our list. Okay, you're above age, you're not a criminal. Have you ever fallen down with 13 feet and have got a metal plate in your head? We have to ask that to everybody. In fairness, but they probably should have said, hey, listen.
What's your medical history?
What's your medical history? Are you on any medications?
Yeah.
Not just for fun.
Yeah, not just fun meds. No, I mean, what's happening? I mean, granted, no, you know what? I'm like, oh, he should have disclosed this to the attorneys in MTV, but also you just won this incredible thing. Like, you're over the moon. You're so excited. You're a huge fan. Why would you want anything to get in your way to stop this experience?
So he blacked out. He remembers waking up in his hotel bed. And the second night, there was this huge food fight, which I guess is a big part of it.
A food fight?
It's
what is
very
this, Hook?
80s. It's like meatballs, you know.
That's crazy. Everything's in cafeteria, and you're the most popular kid in school.
And there's bikini girls everywhere.
Bikini girls.
In a To Win It Winnick, he was found locked in a closet wearing a bra.
Where? How?
Maybe it was Tammy's bra. Is there a wrong way in that situation? I think anyway's the right way. After the contest, fast forward to now, he speaks very highly of it. He's in an Alcoholics Anonymous program or a Narcotic Anonymous program, NA or AA. Said, I was drinking oil tankers of booze, smoking plantations of marijuana, and heading to be buried. Wow. My parents gave me an ultimatum. So you see pictures of him, like a nice guy, like kind of dorky, but like 80s dorky. So but
cool. Interesting
experience. And today he works as a facility manager at a school and does maintenance work. So
he's alive.
Fine. He's alive.
He's alive.
He's thriving. There's a documentary called Lost Weekend, a 15-minute mini doc that has made the rounds from 2019 about this experience.
Wow, I would love to watch that.
So you could probably watch that instead of listening to this, but you've already listened this far.
Don't do it.
It's from filmmakers Bradford Thomason and Brett Whitcomb. So check that out, even though we already gave you all the information.
As you were telling the story, I was like, this is going to end in a death, or at least one. I'm so happy that he is alive, and I'm happy that he has used resources to get help. And I am really excited to hear what this person has to say so many years after the fact. It's going to be a wild ride on a jet plane with pizza.